Hello, U.S. history. Today is Monday, April 19th. I am updating this just to kind of give you a direction for the week. Let me give you first some general reminders to kind of clarify what's going on at school and with you out in the digital world. So here's your general reminders for this week. First of all, we've had a modification to the schedule a little bit, mostly for in-person people, but we've dropped kind of the A and B schedule and it's all just period 1, 2, 3, 4, all that. Everybody, however, is virtual on Monday. Now, for us right now, it's a little tricky because for the next 4 Mondays, juniors are going to be taking their SBAC exam. So that pretty much takes up your Monday. I'll post updates like this on Mondays, but I probably won't post assignments that are due, that will be due until Wednesdays. So just so you know, you are going to have your own digital Google Classroom. And the most important part for the digital people to remember is intervention is every day at 2:40. You are required to log in daily and complete an activity or an attendance form or something because they do need proof of your attendance each day. So that's pretty much what I'm reminding you of here. So the in-person people are going to get a new Google Classroom. However, for everyone, login is required every day to be given attendance credit. Interventions at 2:40 each day. That will always be live from the classroom. And just like always, you can email me individually if you need help. Your notes will work the same way, and you have a topic today called the U.S. and World War II. So you will have note topics. They will have due dates, and you're also, required to have the proper heading and everything like we've practiced a million times. And pretty much everyone has that down, so I'm not too worried that you know what to do. You are allowed to type the notes or handwrite them and send screenshots, and they're also to be used on exams. The SBAC testing. So Monday will be asynchronous for everybody, and that's kind of for two very logical reasons. Number one, you're all going to be testing that day, so you won't be in any class, whether you're logging in or there in person. And secondly, all of your teachers are pretty much proctoring that exam, so they won't be available for live instruction or for digital help or anything. So you have to be aware that every Monday when you log in, you're going to be seeing some asynchronous post from your teacher because they won't be live. They're going to be giving the exam. Okay. You will need a piece of paper, and remember that this is a screencastify. You can always pause or repeat something if I'm going too fast. Your topic is the United States, or I'm sorry, end of World War II. I think I said the wrong topic earlier, 1945. And this is going to be a little two-parter, so this is just part one of it. Make sure you have your topic there, and I'm going to go ahead and go on. So first of all, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, and as you know, in class we covered Japanese internment and we saw the American pastime about that. The war accelerates at that point. The Battle of Midway Island takes place in June of 1942, and that's kind of the signal that the war is going to be pretty long and pretty bloody. The problem is the United States has to fight these island-to-island battles against the Japanese army, and they're island hopping, meaning they're chasing the Japanese military from island to island and losing 3,000 or 4,000 Marines and soldiers per day. So it's a very bloody conflict. The picture you see there is the raising of the flag at Iwo Jima, and this is early in 1945. And this is kind of signaling that they're working their way towards Japan. Iwo Jima and Okinawa are both right off the coast of mainland Japan. So we have gone from fighting out in the Pacific to nearly the Japanese homeland. And at that point, the president's going to have to make a decision about whether to invade Japan itself or not. And that decision is going to fall to President Truman because April 12th of 1945, President Roosevelt dies. He dies after just being elected to his fourth term in office. Very popular, but he was very sick. He had several strokes and he passed away. So now it's going to be up to President Truman to kind of oversee the defeat of Hitler and then oversee the defeat of Japan. So that's a big responsibility for your first month on the job. The war in Europe. As it's unfolding, 1944 is June 6, 1944 to be specific, is D-Day. That is when 200,000 American soldiers land in Normandy under the command of General Eisenhower, and they invade Nazi-occupied France. And I don't have my little laser pointer on, but I'll just move my arrow here. So this red part obviously is Nazi Germany, but all of this part in pink and orange was all Nazi territory. That's all occupied by Hitler. So the Americans land here with the British Army as well. The Soviet army is fighting this way, so they're going to kind of squeeze Hitler back to Germany from two directions, and they're eventually going to corner him in the capital city of Berlin. February of 1945, there's Roosevelt. He's this is a couple months before he passes away, but he meets with Winston Churchill and Joseph Stalin, and together those big three leaders plan what's going to happen to Germany once Hitler is gone. So by February 1945, they understand Nazi Germany is going to be defeated. It's a matter of time. Hitler is actually hiding in a bunker in the city of Berlin and will eventually commit suicide there. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories about that. I'll get into that sometime because they're kind of cool. And lastly, April of 1945, Roosevelt dies, and it's about 2 weeks later that Hitler dies, and it's a very weird event. He gets married to his wife, Eva Braun. They drink poison. They have their guards shoot them in the head, and then for some reason, he has his dogs killed too, which is the real tragedy, that the dogs had to die. So it is 2 weeks after that they declare the war over in Europe. And they call that VE Day, Victory Europe Day. And that is May 8th, 1945. So at that point, the war in Europe is over. But of course, the Holocaust has occurred. And it's at this point that they start to discover the camps. And that's where I'm going to pick it up on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day I post it for you. And you're going to see kind of the results of Americans encountering these Holocaust death camps and not knowing what they were before they went into them. So here's a little just timeline recap here. February of 1945 is the Yalta Conference. That's where the big three, Stalin, Roosevelt, and Churchill, meet and talk about what the heck were we going to do with Germany. April, Roosevelt dies. The Allies are closing in on Hitler, and sometime around April, maybe 30th, it's thought that Hitler commits suicide at that point. The Allies are moving toward Berlin, and they start to discover these camps in Poland and in other countries. Most of those death camps were not located in Germany. A lot of them were in Poland. And as the word starts to come to General Eisenhower, Eisenhower is hearing about these just hideous crimes that the Nazis have committed. So what he does is he sends out instructions that he wants his soldiers to document everything and collect evidence, because any Nazis they catch, they're going to put on trial. And he keeps that promise. They have the Nuremberg trials. And on the next recording, I'm going to show you a little piece of something called Band of Brothers, where the American soldiers are discovering these death camps. And if you had no idea about what happened during the Holocaust and all of a sudden you walked into one of those camps, you can imagine you'd have the shock of your life, which the American soldiers did. So we're going to pause at this point here, and I will resume and finish this with you on Wednesday.